Are we good people? Now, let's get this out of the way. Finally, for good. For good. Paramount Investments and Entertainment Limited, 1997. What was Paramount all about? When I resigned from the Uganda Revenue Authority after the probation period, it was a 6 months probation. Then I was to take on a job, probably a long-standing career job. My friends I left there are still there, even up to today. My hobbies, they've done well. They are up in the ranks, senior roles. You know, they are commissioners. That's what I mean. In Uganda Revenue Authority. So, I was like, 9 to 5, not for me. I was working through setting up a business, having been given the gaming machines by the investors I met at Capital Pub, because that's the place I used to hang out. I told you how I met the investors in Capital Pub, pool table. So I sit down, and then the idea came about. Paramount Investments. So I had partners, but I'm not going to disclose things like that because that's the last time. Me, I'm telling my story. Kakati, this is 1997. My mom is sick. I'm looking after my mom, and I had made the launch of the business in Tororo District, Eastern Uganda, and I would roll out other branches in Jinja, Busia, Malaba. In 1997, Uganda is a very good virgin territory for business. New things, it was changing. So many things were changing. So I had identified an opportunity. Even if it had just been the pool tables, I was going to make a killing. Snooker. So I had the slot machines, the gaming machines, I had the poker machines, and the table machines. So we had worked out a deal with the investors, and more or less we took lease of the machines. I worked it out. It was this. So let me take the risk. So we worked out each day 100,000 Uganda shillings per branch. So I did the maths. 10 branches, that is 1 million every day. It was easy for me. So when I walked into the bank, I had my business proposal on the table. So I was able to advance the lease payment of the machines. So I had it all for myself. You see what I mean? Kakati oro ngena kutandiko kuba left, right, and center, supervising, managing, and making sure that everything is going as it goes, you know, with business. You know what I mean? Doing the cash collections. Back in the day, we used to collect cash, put it in the car, drive from one branch. Kakati, at that time, my mom is at home now. Upper Manda Road. Those who know where we used to stay at Upper Manda Road, upscale, Manda Road. And she was at home. The doctors in Zambia had advised us to give her palliative care. There was no point of keeping her in hospital any longer. So, and it was much deserving for her to be at home and be taken care of. That explains Dr. Orugo. Those who came to visit my mom, if you ever came at that time, we had a doctor staying upstairs. So he was taking care of my mom and also my family. But it worried my mom so much. She's like, hey, Patrick, you're always away. I'm here alone. Everything was hands-on. Everything was hands-on. The business was booming. The business was thriving. I was making a lot of money. The first few months, everything just went like a windfall. Used to come back home late in the night, very much taking all the risks. But fortunately, never. The closest I came to was an accident in Mabida Forest. Mabida Forest, at night. Now it is different. 1997, it was another picture. When my mom started taking ill, the issue at hand was the house. The house had been, a loan, a bank loan. When you take out a loan in the bank, you give their security. So the house was tied to the bank. Now, I didn't know about these loans. Okay, my mom had gone into businesses left, right, and center. She was doing well. Even had she taken ill, she was doing well in Kampala. I've talked about those businesses. Okay? So the loan went bad, and the bank was pulling the house. I begin negotiations with the bank. Greenland Bank would end up buying the house. Not like buying the house. So what I sat down with the managing director at the time, Dr. Sulaiman Chigundu, he was a very good friend of my dad, the late. So when I presented to him this situation, he said, no, I will do something. Nangamba, nti bwe mba musobola okufuna omuguzi. The bank can work with you and see that it doesn't go bad for you. But of course the house was going. My mom is seriously ill at this point. This is towards the end of 97. I'm left, right, back, and center. One evening, I told you this before, I have a feeling that there was some insider within the bank who rang around and had a contact who would buy that house. That house is very, very beautiful. Then about a few days later, I remember I had returned back to Kampala. And then I was leaving. The gentleman was in the area. He had parked somewhere. Then he saw me coming out of the gate. Then, hello, we started talking. Then before anything else, he's telling me he's looking for a property to buy in the area. I said, no. If you're looking for a property to buy, this is the house to buy. We are selling our house. And then I tell him to come in. So when he came in, my mom was in the sitting room. She had just come out of the bedroom, very, very weak. So, talking, and then, okay. He was very much empathetic to what was going on and very much concerned. And then I explained to him. He said he's willing to buy the house. It was a winner, take it all, first take. And in that situation, I said, no, I can even make an advance payment. Come to the bank today. Tropical Africa Bank, Obey Charlie. And I remember he advanced 20 million cash because my mom needed money around her. Not that she needed it for anything, but of course that brought the deal to close. Then I went back to where? To my business. And by the beginning of the year, the transfer and everything, that is January, February, I remember, the loan has been offset. And we walked away with a very big markup. So the markup was, what do I mean? My mom wanted us to build a house. As a family, my sisters and brother, which was okay. There was no problem with that. And a few days before she passed away, the bank had agreed for my mom to stay in the house until she passes away. That is courtesy of Sulaiman Chigundu, the governor, former governor of Bank of Uganda, who was the managing director of Greenland Bank, a personal friend of our family. So I'm going to give you at that point, I'm so much in my business. My mom was astronomical. This is where now family. We are family. We are family. Kakati omukuza waffe. Or after my mom had passed away, we moved from the house to Mawanda. From Mawanda Road, we went and stayed in Mengo, renting. From Mengo, by then we have bought. That gentleman was building a house in Impererwe. That's how I end up in Impererwe. And then he says to us, we can work out a deal. Part of the payment. Ere nyumba. The man was called Katonji. He was a Kampala City Council engineer. Kawempe division. He had a very powerful job. Very understanding man. So we buy the house in Impererwe. It was a shell house. Kakati, kakati, when my dad passed away in 90, we had him, he had appointed a family, call it a family trustee, to help my mom. But my mom didn't need that, although she was young. She was 33. She took care of us. We didn't need any people to supplement us, so we were not begging anybody not to yambe. Ati omukuza kyeyakola n'agenda mu bank nange. I remember that day. Najjayo sente ati ebizibu genda kutandika. This is where problems are going to begin from. Bino ebintu sibyogeranga kambyogere. Kati omukuza n'akola withdraw ya million 19, something like that. Zali mu range eyo 1997, 17, 18 million nazo withdrawing. Nti alina byasasula Makerere University yali asuplyingayo nnyama. Ezo sente kwegenda okuva ebintu ebigenda okututabulanga family. Akati my mama has passed away. Basonda sente mu kufa kwa mama wange. I'm coming in. I'm coming now. I relax and I come. I see in a minute. Yeah. Akati amabugonga manyi. Ezo sente naona zibula. Abantu bangi nnyo bawaayo sente. Ezo sente zaabulirawo. Ez'amabugo. Era omuntu yenna bw'avaayo n'agamba nti nno yawa amabugo ku kufa kwa mama wange tetwagalabako. Nze nalina sente zange ku lwange. I took care of that funeral of my mom. Kiraba. Era nali Jinja that night when I received the phone call that she's not well. By morning, she had passed away. I drove straight to Kampala. That evening, I was taking charge of everything. Everybody who attended would testify and say, nti mwali baana bato. Okuba nti no obuvunaanyizibwa. No, it wasn't anything. We could manage. Kiraba. Ati omukuza sente ezo teyazizza. Paka kati. Teyazizza. Twali ffenna mu Greenland Bank's first floor ye nyini yagendayo na kati nga yeetadde mu kya famire. Empererwe, I begin to finish the house. Mukimanyi nti n'ennyumba nze ngimaliriza kati. Sente zikiriwo ekiti. Sente ezaali zifisseewo after paying off the loan zaali million 10. Ono aggyeko million 2, nzadde million 8. Tukutte million 17. Tuguze ennyumba. Tulina okumaliriza ennyumba. Kakati, this is how things begin to get ugly. Kati omukuza nga atandika okutudividinga, nga akwata abasista bange atandika okubateekamu ebigambo nti Patrick alidde ssente z'essaali anako wadde n'ekikumi. Nziguddewo edduuka Mperere Grocers. Mujijjukira those who were in Mperere, the first supermarket in Kampala, huge like this, glittering and everything. Nali mbirabye Kenya. Ne salon, Sterling Starch hair barbers. Ekyo nakyo ne kireeta obuzibu bw'amaanyi. So this is what I'm talking about. Nti I more or less was fighting a battle on my own, trying to keep my mother's legacy. And within 6-7 months, all the businesses had collapsed. I'll come to that part of that story at some point. Mufuna bulungi. Ati sente ziri mu banka. Nze sikintole waazo. Natandika kumaliriza nnyumba. Nze ne ngamba nti nina okumaliriza ennyumba ya maama waffe gy'atwagaliza tubeere mu my own money. Munfuna my own money. Kati in that chaos and confusion, this is soon after my mom had passed away. Tuli mu 6 months later, sente wezile zili mu bank zeetaaga. Kakati nga ebintu bitandika okukaluba. Ekisingira ddala okuleeta business. Kakati nga baganda bange bajjanga mu business ne bajja mu ssente. Bino ebintu byenjogera byaliwo. I'm not making them up. Era ekyasuula pharmacy, ekya grocery, ne saluuni byebyo n'embita. Neŋŋamba kati olwo omukuza ataddewo embeera nti tugabane. Ne mbagamba nti tugabana ki? Sente ziri mu trust, sente ziri mu banka, weeziri cash, and they couldn't believe. Tugende wa Kiggondo. I remember mujjukira Fang restaurant, Greenland Towers, yali ku 4th floor. Ngambagamba nti tugenda ku meeting after. Nga I explained to Sulaiman Kiggondo nti tufunye ebizibu. Omukuza, so-called trustee, tutabudde. Kakati baganda bange baagala mbawe ssente. Saali mubi. Nga ensonga tuzidiscussinga bulungi nnyo. Nga I explained to him, I want to get on with my business. Nagala bino ebya family mbiveemu. It's all nonsense for me. Nga ndaba nti I'm investing, I'm putting things together, but I'm not getting anything back. Nga mugamba nagala tukole withdraw. Nga babala ssente. Nga bangamba nti we can advance you 60 million cash. 60 million cash on the table. I said, okay, that is money on the account that is left. Muzimpe zonna. Era basiteka mu bibaasa. Nezikirira wansi mufangufanga gye baali batudde kati olwo nga ne girlfriend wange ndi ne Bettina yali asomye law era naŋŋamba nti terms and conditions namugaa nti no, we don't need to do terms and conditions on this one. Kino kya family kiyise. Sister wange omu ne muwa $2,000,000. Omulala ne muwa $2,000,000. Ne Michael $2,000,000. Sister wange omukulu yazitwala. Kati ezo sente eza muganda wange Mike zezigenda ate okubatabula later on mu story ngenda bawa ebintu siyogerangako. And that is going to explain what will come next. Ndikastana gaggawala neŋŋamba nti I have nothing to do with the family. Nkitadde empererwa awo bonna awo naye mwansanga nga ndi mperere family. Nze ngeri nze mbira bakazi mayumba. Yes. That is 99. At 99 I was all over the place. Akati kyanuma nnyo. It hurts me a lot. Okulaba nti vision ya mama wange ya falling down the rail. Kubanga yalabako bye nali nsobodde okukola. Mama wange sinamujjanjabanga. Ba girlfriend bange bajjanga wakana balaba ne bajjanjaba mami. Ba sister bange tebabiriiko. Kiraba? Which me I didn't mind. I didn't mind. I did not mind. Kakati oro Paramount 1999. Awo now embedded big because after the death of my mom, my success escalated. Nakola sent is starting our explanation with Ziva. That's when I was in Masaka. Now I was expanding westwards. I had a depot with Nile Breweries, distribution depot, Masaka, Nganze sole distributor. Ebalese ESBB oyo nendio kamunywesa abantu Masaka munamuna. It was beyond. Sembule steel mills. The manpower distribution. That is the business part. Ati na yogenda ku entertainment part. Naye yingiza sente. Nali mu sente meka. You ask yourself. I could even have savings to the tune of $100,000 cash ngaziri mu bank. My own money. $100,000 zinajjiramu okusoma wano. Sina muntu yenna ayinza okugamba nti no yali andiisa yali annywesa tekyaliwo. Ati nga we mbadde mbagamba, I repeat myself, nti family yange ekyannaku nnyo nti my dad passed away when he was very young. My dad passed away at 40. If you saw my dad, he was very young, 40. That's when he took ill. 43, bah. My mom becomes a widow at 30 something, 33, 34. Bah. 10 years later, she's dead. Kakati twali baana bato. That means that anybody who was in charge of our well-being, ng'omukuza yali omuntu alina okubeera w'obwesige, trust, ye trustee. Kiraba, my dad had written a will. Twalaba ebintu bingi nnyo family yaffe. And so many people took advantage of us. Sinnababuulira how my dad's business empire collapsed. People who took advantage, schemers, our family, emikwano. Kiraba, Chanda, my dad was Zinaraba General Coffee Merchants. Biwanvu. It's only people like Kamba Katinga Amos Nzei. They are the ones who came to our rescue. Amos Nzei of Pepsi Cola and Hot Rough. Bali mikono gya mzee wange be batuyamba. Those who were the genuine people who stood by us. No, you shall not see these things taken advantage of. Naagula farm yaffe Kamuli mixed model farm, Kakiri. Very beautiful farm. But it had been ravaged by the war at that time. It had been. And as you can farm manager Yariko, Mr. Kalimunda. Oba alidda wa. Mr. Kalimunda. Yari farm manager. So when it's close like that, in the 80s. Kakatika today yo. Eno part one, yes series. Naga today Paramount Investments. Wetani chasing kunuma. What really inspired me. I was good to go. Which actually said. On the table. Because abantu nkoledde family yange ebirungi byesafu na buli kimu everything went to waste. Everything went to waste. Naina ennyumba zinali nzimba Entebbe Road nenzigabira abakazi because I was pissed off. Byanyiiza nnyo bya family. Whereas the sala about chonna chai tutusa ku extent of almost wanting but my sisters could not believe nti set nali nzina bwe baali banzikuddeko olutalo nakwata miliyoni 2 buli omu nenzimuwa. My younger sisters amala bamwaka ku mugazi weddewo ono omulala simanyi ono omulala biwanvu mu bimanye bya family bibeera complicated. So come 1999 is the rise of Paramount Investments. From all that fracas, from all that whatever it was, you know, so that everything comes about, you know. But there was no reason for us to battle each other. It was not there. There was no reason. Sajirabawo okujja kwa kuba nti no outside influences ezatulimu, forces ezatulimu. Nengamba nti the next thing bana abantu abasinga okubenefitinga mu binali nkola baali banaba outsider, my friends, my girlfriends. Wagulira mukazi Mercedes Benz nani jigulidani nani, you guys tell me nani jigulidani mufuna bulungi akati yeyo tutandika part 1. We are going to break down Paramount Investments nibi yakola n'abagirimu ab'amaanyi mukwano jange abamu bafudde bambi abamu bafa abamu bali mu magye baali basirikale nga b'amaanyi bakuba ssente ne bajja ne bazinogwe n'ozitambuza mujja biga tegeera. You have to have trust. Genda mu kasino omutima nti no baali bankubidde amasasi ku gundi ku Makerere University. Kegusi musajja yangobala ino byali abakazi babusika abamu nga bambi baana bato byabakazi Kegusi kali story nga giba bulungi nnyo. All right peeps.